Hello, Lee.
Good evening.
Hi, Lee. Okay, let's call the meeting to order for the Public Works Committee on Tuesday, June 3rd at 6:01. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Excellent. Statement of public notice. The agenda is posted here outside at the town hall, and it's also posted online. I will make a note that we will address in the adoption of the agenda that the agenda that's posted online is missing items 6.1 and 6.2, which we'll cover in the adoption of the agenda next. So roll call, we have Mr. Marshall, Mr. Carlson, Mr. Simpson, Mr. Zahler. Les Weber is not here tonight, but we do have a quorum. Neither alternate Bill Murphy, who let me know he was going to be out of town, and Ernie Betker is not here this evening at this point. I will take a motion to adopt the agenda, but I would like to add to that motion that we need to add items 6.1 and 6.2, which is the review of data from traffic and speed collection on Perch Lake Road and 150th, and discussion about issues received from one of our citizens on Perch Lake. So I will take a motion to
Make that motion.
Second. Motion made and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passed. We'll move on to the approval of the prior meeting minutes. Everybody's had a chance to take a peek at them. I will take a motion to approve the prior meeting minutes from 5/6 of 25. When you're ready.
I'll have to abstain. I wasn't here.
Yeah, I wasn't here either.
Oh,
so-
goodness gracious. Now what do we do?
I guess I have to make that motion then.
We don't have a quorum to, well, you can't make the motion, but you can vote on it.
Yes, I believe that's correct.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I make the motion that we approve the minutes from the May 6th meeting.
I'll second that. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passed. Anybody online with public comment? Because there's nobody in the building. Okay. Well, good evening, Lee.
Good evening.
We'll move on to the first item, which is the 2025 road projects. Lee got a hold of me a little earlier in the week and said there's just going to be a couple of minor updates, and made a little more sense to be online tonight. So I do have a couple of questions for you, Lee, before you wrap it up at the end of this, but why don't you go ahead?
Certainly. 144th Avenue is the first item. The remaining work for that is the wear course, or the paving, excuse me, as well as any of the shouldering and cleanup work from last year. We have not heard from the developer or the contractor as to a time frame. We do have a call into them regarding that to find out what the schedule is, and we'll keep you updated on that. The other thing to note is that we are in the process of doing the next calculation for the town's participation in the cost of that project. So as soon as we get all the information we need, we will make that calculation and get that to the board so they can make a decision or make a motion on that that payment. Any questions on 144th?
Just any concerns about the delay in response or anything, or?
No, we just tried to get a hold of them this week.
Okay,
So,
I think we're good then.
all right. 2025 road project discussion, the crack sealing and seal coating. The attorney still has the contracts. He needs to deliver those to the town. Apparently that will happen on Thursday. The town can get those signed, and then we will schedule a pre-construction meeting here, probably mid-June. And that project is slated to start no sooner than the week after the 4th of July.
Excellent.
Is there an update tonight, Member Marshall, regarding the containment area up by the Public Works building?
We'll be placing walls in there, I believe, next week.
Perfect. That's awesome. All
I have
right.
I have one little question on it. Are we gonna do any vegetation planting on the other side of that wall since we removed some trees, like some arborvitaes or anything? Or are we not gonna worry about the sight line on that?
That line is the county line. No.
Okay,
So that covers the 2025 road projects.
great, thank you. Well, unless Lee, you have anything to interject on item number 2, which is the Scott Road idea of collaborating with the town of Hudson. I don't think we have anything further that we need to discuss. Oh, I
you
do.
wanna do more stuff, yeah.
I'm sorry. I have a question for you. So what is the state default speed limit for a road classified like Perch Lake Road is classified?
55.
Okay, and how much leeway do we have to lower the speed limit?
A town has the leeway to lower that speed limit. I probably want to get out the rules and regs to pass out to you guys again, but there is a number that you can lower it. I believe it's 10 miles an hour, but that is predicated upon an engineering study that, supports that decision.
Oh, you have to have a speed study, that expensive speed study before we can lower it even 10 miles.
Well, it's termed in the statute an engineering study. So,
Okay,
I mean, and we've talked about, the board has asked about this in the past, and we've
know.
had those discussions, and I
I
can
know.
certainly bring all that information back. I'm not suggesting that you don't pursue it. I'm just citing history. So
Yeah, no, right. Yeah, I personally could use a refresher course now that I'm in a little
certainly,
bit of a different position, but because we've got some issues on that are being brought up by some of the citizenry on speed limits, so I
sure.
think we just need to really nail that down, and it's specific to Perch Lake. But yeah, if you could help us out on that, that would be great.
Would it be appropriate for me to gather some of the materials that have been shared in the past, and even probably some communications on Perch Lake Road as well, to gather that together and forward that on in a package?
Yeah, that'd be fine. Just kind of a brief summary, just email it out to the members here, and we'll just take it from there.
Sounds like your mic turned off.
Whoop, I'm sorry. Can you
Now I can hear you.
summarize that and put it in an email to us, to the members and of the committee here, so that we have a little more accurate information as we move forward with this?
Certainly. What type of time frame would you like to receive that in?
Give us a couple weeks before the next meeting, I suppose.
Okay, sounds good.
Lee, this is Mark. I do have, and I will send out the previous traffic studies that we have done there. It was 2 or 3 years ago, we did 3 points along that road.
You mean the counts?
Counts and speed, I believe.
Speeds. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
And this
And-
is, go ahead.
And then when you say engineering study, would our traffic studies for speeds count as an engineering study, or do they have to take into effect the road angles and widths and everything else?
They would be a part of it. You have to analyze the entire, the geometry of the road, the vertical and horizontal curvatures, and all those things.
That's what I hoped, that's what I was hoping you were not going to say.
Well,
Okay,
You
well,
know,
that's okay. This,
And on a straight road, like a runway, it's a lot simpler than a road that has curves and hills.
yeah, yeah,
Yep.
that makes sense. Well, this bubbled up again because we got a long paragraph email from one of the residents on Perch Lake Road and mostly, well, complaining about the speed. So we're just addressing that. We're not trying to re-engineer the whole thing, but we do need to address it. So I appreciate the feedback.
Is that communication public data?
Not yet.
Her letter,
Right.
Well,
I think her
guess-
letter has to be public data.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean, it was sent to the chair, then it was forwarded to us, so.
Well,
guess so.
if there's any value in me just looking at it while I'm gathering up all the data from before,
I'll
I'd
send
be
it
more
to
than
you.
happy to take a gander at it.
I'll send it to you.
Lee, also take a look. I'm going to send out either tonight or first thing tomorrow. I will send out the actual report on the two roads that we did, one of them being Perch Lake Road. Take a close look at that because you'll be surprised and that will affect what you, the outcome.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it until we get to
Mhm.
that part.
Right. Well, I'm not going to go forward with any kind of analysis until, the board asks me to do that, but I certainly will
Right.
take a look and digest the data.
Great. Is there something else that you wanted Lee to work with us on?
No, I think that was just it.
Okay,
I knew that we
perfect.
had that. Those questions.
Okay, all right, Lee, we're good. If you want to sign off, that's fine with us unless anybody else has anything for Lee. No?
Nope.
You have a great night,
Thanks,
Lee.
Lee.
Thank
Yep.
you.
You too. Thanks. Take care.
Talk soon.
Yep. Bye.
Okay, moving on to item 2.1, this idea of Scott Road. Has this been dealt with at the board level, you think, Chris, or?
No, they're still figuring out,
Oh, Hudson is, right?
yeah.
So I would imagine this is starting to get time sensitive in terms of us. I mean, that's
Uh,
a $250,000 project, right? If it's a full reconstruct and we don't know what they're doing, so.
correct, so I ain't heard nothing on the street yet, and I think they still have some management issues
Oh,
at the
that's right.
board level.
I think we just set this, I don't know, I think it's a good idea, but we keep talking about it, but we can't really go forward because they're holding.
Well, I
Oh,
think we
sure.
keep it on the agenda
You
and
do?
I'll get some answers.
Okay.
I'd like to
Well-
keep it on the agenda until it's too late to do anything this summer.
I mean, we don't have, is Scott's Road scheduled for crack seal or anything this summer?
No,
It's considered for major work.
Hudson.
In
has that.
Hudson, I mean, our
Hudson.
section,
No.
our section is good.
well,
I think.
the idea is if they're doing anything major down here, we can tack on. But
Yeah,
we'll have to see.
I don't have no solid business answers yet, so
Yeah.
I'll work on that.
They're in a little disarray over there, I think.
Right.
I mean, a question I would have is, are the two, is the base and the asphalt depth, I mean, are they all the same or are they different for our section from their section?
Our road is wider,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
It's a valid question and a couple core samples will do that.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what they come up with.
And it was just a mutual aid type of thing instead of
Mm-hmm,
being behind the 8 ball on our side. That's all.
which makes sense, but
Well, yeah. I mean, if ours is gonna need to be done in a few years, anyway, it would make sense to get her done now. in
And this is,
Collaboration with them.
this is just me
Hi, Ernie.
managing like Somerset. I'm showing them mutual aid.
Come on up.
Really?
Yeah, you're part of the deal tonight. But you're 15 minutes late for crying out loud.
Pardon? What's that?
I said you're 15 minutes late. That's okay.
I thought 6:30.
6 o'clock.
I've done that before. So you're early, but late at the same time.
I always thought that it was
You're early and late at the same time, Ernie. Good job.
well, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Would rather have you here.
Good to be here.
Didn't the town rebuild our section of Scott Road not that long ago?
It was like 2 years ago
I have
that
to check.
we seal coated it and we,
You got the wrong one.
Really?
Oh, maybe I mean, it's, to me, when I'm driving down Scott Road, it's like really obvious when on road widths, it's, I mean, it's a foot on each side.
well, the other part of it, yeah, I talked to Teresa a month ago and if Hudson rebuilds it, it's possible they may have the county do it, which means there's no estimate. County won't estimate. They just bill you afterwards for time and materials. And you don't.
But it might take
That's
3
good for
months for it to
budgeting.
get done.
Yeah, yeah, and.
Well, you
and
can
our
see
town
how
doesn't
they're
work
just
that way.
hammering the piss out of Gilbert Road there. I don't know what kind of goddamn mess they're making there. That's the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
It seemed like it took them forever on McCutcheon. Anyway, neither here nor there.
Okay, so you're gonna just keep your ear to the rail and we'll go from there, right? Okay. Moving on to item number 3, damages to roads. Any other road damage?
I would just say keep that on the
I
agenda.
haven't
Yeah.
noticed any,
I would like to
my travels.
get a, what, oh, the Scott Road, keep it on the agenda? Is that what you said?
And damage.
Yeah, but
Okay, so
that's
I have a
standard
question,
item.
I have a question on damages to roads. So Midwest Gas has been, they must be laying in a new main along Valley View.
Yeah.
They've been very, very busy. I don't know how far past, my road they go, Fox Ridge, but the ditches and the, shoulders are pretty messed up. So I'm assuming they have a restoration team that comes in and finishes that off, or do we need to keep an eye on that?
No, you need to come in here and first ask if they got a permit to do that.
Yeah.
Cause I had called them on a disturbance in the ditch and the shoulder up on my road on Fox Ridge where they put in,
The new hose.
power company came in, put in their box. And they also had to run a gas line into this new piece of property and it was all messed up. So I called St. Croix Electric Co-op. I said they didn't restore that section and they came in, they had it flagged right away. Came in and looked at it and they go, oh, that's not us, that's Midwest Gas. So then I called Midwest Gas and I asked them to come fix it. You're gonna need some class 5, a little dirt, some grass seed. It's messed up. And they said, okay, and they got out there within 2 weeks. They did a nice job of restoring it. So I'm just wondering,
That's,
from your experience, do we need to be after them?
yeah, because Midwest Gas hires Chater and Hystrom.
Okay,
And they're basically butchers and they try to.
you mean to lay the line or to do the rest? No, to lay the line?
To lay the line probably.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
Midwest Gas touches nothing. But they hired Chater and Hystrom
Okay,
and you have to stay on top of them or they won't restore nothing.
okay, good to know. It's messy.
Yeah, that's what they try to do is hopefully nobody says nothing, right?
Sure.
Okay, I'll take that up. Thank you. Anything else on road damages? Anybody has? Number 4, bollards around well in the upper parking lot. Status of request to the town board.
Ballards around the well, you said?
Bollards around the well up
Bollards.
there in that upper parking lot, so it doesn't get hit.
The wellhead at the top up here for the fire department. Is that what you're
Yeah.
talking about, Mark?
Yes,
You want ballards up there?
Yeah.
How, I'll look at it, but how would anybody hit that thing way back here?
You're putting a lot of faith in drivers, aren't you? Well, especially in the winter for snow plowing, it's really not.
I'll fix it
Not
on my
warmer.
delivery with my walls. We'll put up a Jersey wall right there.
That would, I didn't know you were doing some Jersey walls, but that would take care of it.
That's what's going up here for
Oh.
bunkers.
Oh, I see. I see. So yeah,
So you let me know if you want a 6-footer or 8-footer or what, so probably 8.
I
So
think
Ernie,
an
Chris is
8-footer.
building a containment.
Yeah,
Area on, just on the other side of the shed here for a seal coating material that they used to just dump in the parking lot, and that would get spread all over the place. So Chris is designing and installing a containment system. And
Okay,
what are those sections called?
they're bunker walls.
Bunker walls, whatever?
Jersey barriers.
Jersey barriers, okay. Cool. All right, so that's good. That's good by you.
That's good by me.
This has been on the agenda a few times. A request of the town board to have full future subdivision road plans submitted to the PW committee for review. Has that been up in front of the board, Chris? Number 5. Was it on the agenda? Is it on this week's agenda? Did you look? I didn't.
I haven't seen this week's agenda. That could be.
Because Chris wasn't here
Request to
last
the
week.
town board to have future sub. I believe it's gonna be there,
Teresa said that that's easy for the town to do and we
Yeah.
probably used to do it
yeah,
at a public works, so it's just
It's
a
the way
standard thing.
most places do it.
Yeah,
yeah.
Public Works looks at any infrastructure, it'll be towns.
you can look for our cluster mailbox placement and road naming and all the little snafus that have gotten passed in the past.
Well, we made a motion on, did we make a motion on this
We
last
did.
week?
We did,
And so it should be on the agenda.
yeah, and maybe it,
Maybe we can peek at that before Thursday and see if it's not there, get it tacked on there.
yeah,
Agenda's not posted yet.
Hmm?
Agenda's not
I
posted
can't,
yet.
I don't have the signal to get at it, so
I think it is, but
it could be. All right, so Chris will keep an eye on that. Okay. We're gonna review the data from traffic and speed collected on Perch Lake Road and 150th. So on 150th.
Which 150th?
in front of us, oh, he's not here, in front of Les's house.
Les brought this forward.
Way up by the
Yeah.
town in New Richmond. So,
Basically the same request that we're getting from this other.
and you'll get the whole report tonight or tomorrow.
We have Perch Lake Road.
I do.
Ah, good job.
That's a weird start. 150th first. So based on that, yeah, my mic's on.
Why don't you look at let's go over 150th with you, Mark.
Yes. This is going to be the shorter discussion,
Okay?
maybe. So, fun with spreadsheets. Looking at vehicle speed. On the second page, our average is between 45, 49. You can see there's people that are pushing the limits. But I do think this would be a good place to put up 45-mile-an-hour signs. Because it is a straight shot along there and people can get going. If you look at if you look at the third page, breaks the speeders down by hour. And of course, the afternoon drive time gets hit pretty hard. And there's always a few people that.
Number of vehicles is the left-hand vertical column? On
Yes.
this- Okay, so super speeders.
Okay, and the reason that's a separate graph is if you look at the column on the left,
Yeah,
if I stack that on the top column, you'd never see it.
right. Mm-hmm. Well, I think any further discussion about posting speed limits that are lower than the default speed by 10 miles an hour. I mean, if it takes a engineering study to lower it 10 miles an hour, I don't see the volume or the infractions large enough to.
Not for the cost of, $15,000-17,000 to do those engineering studies.
Here's the whole thing I got a problem with. Is I'll talk to our attorney about this. What I got a problem with is I don't feel Stantec's looking out for us. They just want work. That ain't what I'm interested in. Right? There is no reason. And this is where I'm upset. So, and this is where I'm leading into. So at the educational course I went to in the Dells, there are towns that got a budget of $100,000, the whole goddamn town. So then you're telling me a little town has a problem or township has a problem and they gotta cough up that kind of ching to lower the speed limit? That's bullshit.
10 miles an hour?
Yeah,
You would
that's-
think you would have that leeway.
Yeah.
As a town.
Yeah.
If you wanna
So-
take it down 20 miles an
Yeah.
hour, then maybe.
I think
I
the
don't
town
even
board
get-
has the discretion to lower it 10 miles an hour without a
Yeah,
study.
I know they
And
did,
after
'cause
that,
I
they
had 'em
have
do
to
it.
do it.
On 150th, my 150th, Somerset lowered it as soon as I asked them.
I believe they do.
And I'm gonna have Nick look into it, but I am tired, exhausted of arguing with Stantec about there's no reason to have a fatality, then fucking look at it. Right? It's
Yeah.
dumb. When us as peers go, yep, we hear some issues. Go ahead and lower it. Speeders, if you wanna keep going, speed all you want, right? But we've done our job as peers to bring the temperature down on people's concerns, right? And then the power behind it that I've talked to with deputies, and it's a fact, with the sheriff, now I can post somebody out there and really warm up the education. If there's a enforcement sitting there with, hey, now it's 45.
Okay.
Not only that, but if there's an accident out there and we have posted it for 45. And somebody is doing
Yeah,
55,
yeah,
hit something,
yeah. And their
can't come
Toyota
back at
brain
the top.
box says that they were 62 on impact. You know,
Unless his concern, like this lady's concern, is for pedestrians that
it's
happens to be using that road go for a walk with your dog or whatever.
Here, we'll add to that. So with my health, I never cared one thing about walking. Now I walk on 150th. I wished I had a pail of hammers with me. Literally a pail of hammers with me every evening. Cause there'd be cars everywhere in the ditches because I would throw one if you didn't slow down. Now everybody on that road back there knows who I am because I went and stepped out a little bit more. Yeah, well, no, I've stepped out a little bit more and
Mhm.
challenged them.
No.
And they're all like, there's that guy.
So I got a question for you. You're out doing some regular walking for your well-being?
Yeah,
Good for you.
yeah, but back to, I get it all now. I get it
Oh,
all.
okay,
Right?
good. That's
I wished I
interesting.
had a pail of hammer.
Wow.
So I would like to take and go back to 150th up by Les's and
Yeah.
try a couple more spots up there if we
Yeah.
don't have any.
Go
And
ahead.
I should come down by your house, on 150th down there.
Oh, lay it in there.
I just need a week at a time
Yeah,
in each location.
yeah.
So so you want to do a traffic study down by Chris's as well, and then with the findings, we'll recommend to the
I'll-
board that we go to 45 miles an hour and get
Yeah,
some
I'll be
posting out
talking to
there?
Nick because I am tired of not hearing support.
I get your frustration with the,
Actually, what I would really like to do is get into town of Somerset and do some along their section too, where there's some straight.
Oh, yeah, we own all the way to Huron, right? Do both sides of E.
But I mean, up on 150th up there where it heads from Les's, where it heads towards the lake, towards Bass
Oh,
Lake.
that's what I
It goes-
assumed you were taking.
And
that.
goes into town of Somerset.
Oh, yeah, I was assuming that that's where you were.
But if I gotta check with Teresa and have her check with town of Somerset to make sure that they
I'll
don't
just
wind
tell
up
them
doing it.
we're doing a speed study, that's
You have
all.
your contact
yeah,
up
you
there?
just, yeah,
Okay.
just let them know.
Okay,
So they know what the equipment is out there.
yeah, if you would let them
Before
know,
we
I'll
leave
keep
here.
moving down that way.
Before we leave here, I'll call
Okay,
So I don't see, back to the agenda, I don't see that road plan on the agenda.
that may not,
Oh, for town board?
that may not need to be on the agenda though. That's just a
No,
procedural thing.
he's going back to the other item, right?
Oh,
New road construction coming before,
Yep,
yeah.
so that needs to, maybe that should have been given to Terry after our last meeting, correct? And maybe it was, and maybe she didn't get it on the agenda.
She's had some personal family issues, so
Oh.
maybe it didn't make the agenda.
Yeah.
Shoot her an email.
Yeah,
okay.
okay.
just don't see it.
I can do that.
Okay, great.
Well, let's go to our other location. No,
Okay, yeah, we'll go to 6.2. We'll continue working on 6.1 with the idea of dropping that down to 45 and getting it posted. So this 6.2 is a result of Teresa getting the letter from Tammy Traeger, who's right before the curve. I think they share right past the park entrance. And they share a driveway and hers goes up the top. They got the big house up over the lake, right?
I think they're to the left. And
Yep.
Can't remember who goes to the north.
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We've been here. I thought this was resolved, but the discussion we had was the road was just finished. There's 35 miles an hour posted down by the lake. What's down by the lake?
15 miles an hour.
15 along the lake.
The narrow section that runs right along the lake. And goes up, it starts right before the parking lot above the
Yeah,
lawn
all right,
and goes down to the end.
15.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mm.
15. Otherwise, there's no
so-
speed.
it
There's
goes all
a-
the way to the road that used to go to the beach.
Yeah.
That road
Oh.
that's right along there.
There is a suggested speed limit for entering the curve right after
And
their
what is
driveway
that?
or right
35?
before. I think so.
So my proposal, when me and Bob were on here, was I believe we could continue 35 all the way out to I because it was posted.
Okay.
And somewhere along the way,
It just fell off the radar.
we dropped the ball because the other citizens thought that was too low.
I think
I And-
remember
I do, yeah, now that you're
And-
saying that.
And I was completely upset with. Here's a carrot that we can legally pull all the way up the street, but no, they wanted 45. And I believe this whole conversation stopped.
Yeah, I think they were zoning at different speeds and different spots.
Yeah, no, because I remember since it was posted, if we continued it, that was our legal thing, was to go all the way out with it.
So let's say we did post it,
Yeah,
then what? Who's enforcing it?
the deputy can.
Ken,
Well, and
how
that's
much does
the
that
dis-
cost us?
No, and so we do pay deputies, we pay a one-time fee. They are very understaffed. If you can give them a referral of, hey, you should sit here between 2 and 5. Then they're into that stuff, right? They've done it over by my house.
Before we go
Go ahead.
any further, let's take a look at the
Okay,
numbers.
yeah, let's look at the speed, let's
This is
look at
gonna
the
be
study.
surprising.
That's a good
On-
time. to
On
do
the
that.
first page, traffic volume, that yellow one that's really high,
Yep.
that's Memorial Day.
I'm glad we
So you
caught
can-
Memorial Day.
Yes, yeah, that was a good pick. I mean, you can see what the difference is.
Yeah.
But if you go to the next page,
Oh,
look at the average speed.
Oh. Okay, that's breathtaking.
30 to 34, that-
Is this really an issue?
okay, so,
I really appreciate this.
okay,
So
so
Mark, where are you at taking these on Perch Lake Road?
it was just across from, it was, I put out the equipment and I put it, so let's say you're going towards the lake, and you drop down the straightaway and you start coming up again, and it's right at that peak. It's right across from Gavin's property.
Okay,
And right before you drop down into the
yep.
turn off for the park, and before you get the curb sign that has a speed limit on it, where our concerned citizen lives. So that, I
Gotcha.
thought that was the best place to put it.
When we set this up, because there's two hoses that go across the road, it has to be on a straightaway. If you do it on a curve, the
Yeah,
horse is gonna tear it out, so it has to be on the straight. But where Jeff set it up is probably a spot where they're going to be going the fastest.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I can appreciate this. This is a good job.
so
It
in
really
other words,
is.
they're really not speeding.
No,
So I don't know, well, you know,
I
there's,
think a second study is move it down by her driveway.
well, no.
I can move it only so close because
But
they're right on the.
They're
curve.
right on the curve.
I think we've done our due
True.
diligence. I mean,
There's
there's
nobody going 50 miles an hour around that curve.
No,
True.
so I've spent a little time out on that road
I
the
get-
past week.
I guess put it up. Up by our town board member's driveway.
I did this 3 years ago, and I have that study.
Yeah.
I have to find it and I'll send it out.
There's
I did
a
3
four-way
places.
stop there. That's not gonna.
I
do
did
all.
it, the last time I did it at the bottom of the guardrail
Okay. Oh, of that hill.
of that hill.
Well, then fine.
And I think, from what I remember, they're doing about 35 miles an hour going up the hill and about 45 coming down.
Okay.
Okay, so I've been out there a fair amount over the past, and after reading her letter, I wanted to make sure we captured Memorial Day weekend, even though the weather really wasn't lake weather, it still looks like some folks were out and about, so the comments in her letter about speed, we can kind of not disregard, but there's no data to back it up that there's an enormous amount of speeding. I think her concern can maybe be addressed with, yeah, we can do the 45 mile an hour, whatever we come up with, put some speed limit signs out there. But I think the addition of, maybe we can add down towards right where that curve is, or even on the curve and before the curve, getting to the lake. Put some, caution, slow down pedestrian traffic. Cause that's her main concern out walking on the road with her grandkids, if that's what she wants to do. That's fine, and that would, I think, address those concerns. Having spent time out there, I've got some other concerns about Birch Lake Road in general that doesn't have anything to do with this. A couple of things. I'm gonna ask everybody, guess how many no parking signs are on Birch Lake Road? I want everybody to guess, put a number out there.
A year ago, there were only half that many. They were added.
What's your
I don't
number?
know.
I haven't been down there, so you're telling me stealing is going on?
What? No, I just want you to guess how many no parking signs, including the ones on either end between E and 60th, where
I
it says
believe-
no parking between here and
It
60th.
should have been double sided and we should have had like 9 of them.
Well, there's gotta be a lot more than that.
Just take a guess. I'm just fooling around here a little bit.
I made it so nobody knows
Give me a number. I just want to know.
something like that. A lot.
No, that's not a number.
No, I was part of that, so I know we got a lot down there.
What's a lot?
Like I said, double sided. I think there's 19, 20 of them.
Okay,
Total.
Ernie, what's your
I'd
guess?
say 20 to
I'm going 25.
I have no clue.
You want to guess? How many no parking signs are?
Well, since everybody's in the same ballpark, I'll go up. I'll say 30.
There's 57 no parking
57.
signs on Perch Lake Road.
Oh, well. Is there any issues with
How do you
parking?
get 57 to
That's-
fit in
here,
there?
I'm gonna
Is
call,
there
I'm gonna
any
give it a
issues
name.
with
I'm gonna give it a
parking?
name. It's called sign pollution.
Well, that was done a year ago.
Yeah.
Because they
Hey,
had problems.
hey,
with
I
the
got
county
rid of
park.
that shit.
And.
They had problems on one day, on a hot 100-degree July 4th day. That's what they had. Now we've got 57 no parking signs on Perch Lake Road. I'm personally not okay with it. I think it's silly and overdone and it's a mess and I think it needs to be cleaned up. Especially if we add more signs to Perch Lake Road, we need to,
The big issue is right at the boat landing there, right?
it's from,
Along the lake.
Around the
it's the
whole-
whole,
anything
it's the
along the
whole
lake.
length of the road.
Yeah.
Anything along the lake and close to the entrance to the county
Oh,
park.
yeah, we went up the hill too. There was a discount on signs on.
Well, it did that at the same time we did
Anyway.
Nelson Farm Road. I mean, go count what's on Nelson Farm
Yeah,
Road.
in fact, now that you're
I bet there are
jogging,
30 of
I
them
remember,
there.
yeah, we went all the way out to Iowa with them, and just in case
Wow.
somebody.
And that's gonna lead me to another thing that we might be a little more effective instead of putting out so many signs. I think that we have the authority through the state to make the decisions to authorize, deputize a town official to hand out parking tickets.
I do that,
You do?
and I'm in charge of towing. In fact, just today, we had a concerned citizen throwing a grad party on Perch Lake. and
Oh,
wanted
that
to-
was the Gavins.
No, different guy, different guy.
Oh,
And, cause I happened to be in here and he knew that I'm a fan of towing. And he wanted to make sure that he knew that he was hosting a grad party.
well, I would
And so
personally,
this kind of stuff works. Yeah, so people have issues, they call me, I call the tow truck place and they're gone. So
okay.
I have no problem. And that's
Are you?
full circle, that's where we go back to why there's lots of signs, because there's no confusion on why your car's gone.
There's a sign in front of your car and another
Yep.
one right in the back
Yep.
of your car.
Well, what it was we were taught that you gotta be able to see one. And then,
Yeah,
and so on and so on, so hey.
Yeah, with those curves there.
So signs by Chris Marshall, I got it, okay.
No, it was a case of I'm not screwing around, because what it was. Stop before Dan's with signs, then they park beyond that around Dan's driveway and up east of
Are
there,
these the
right?
folks going into the park, walking into the park, or they're going down to the lake, or the
Lake.
grad party?
Like, no, it's ignorant people, out of town people, uncourteous people.
In some cases, it's people that wanna go into the park and won't pay for a park
And
fee.
won't pay, yeah, that shit too. No, I'm just over it with, you got some citizens who want this nuisance gone and I made it gone.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna throw it out there that I think that we can maybe just do a visual review of all the signage that's out there on Perch Lake Road, because I really think it's excessive, and some of it's old, some of it's new. And then when we discussed the plowing issue with the no parking signs on the, not the lake side, but the other
Yeah,
side,
yeah.
I had recommended we do a two-sided sign. Take the ones off the ditch and just say no parking either side of the road, no
I
matter which
think-
way they looked at it.
I think Lee said that that's not legal, that it's not valid.
Really?
I mean, yes, that.
I don't remember.
I
don't-
believe so, cause that's why I did it on Nelson Farm Road. I believe he's right with repeating,
Oh, okay, that's not a legitimate sign.
cause I have them staggered. All the way down.
Well, I think we can seriously go in there and look and speak, because we'll probably be adding signage based on speed limits and maybe caution signs. But maybe there's a few old signs and stuff that we can maybe thin it out a little bit. It's pretty excessive. And I don't know if it's necessary for the.
I guess
I've
how
been
we
going to
could,
Birch Lake my whole life, and I've never really seen any huge parking issues out.
At one time, 15 to 20 years ago, had a big problem with kids would come down on Birch Lake. They would block the road
Oh,
and have parties down there.
Oh, right on the road, yeah.
And that's why they put up the big signs down there.
yeah.
And in fact, then they had to go back and they had
I guess,
concrete them in.
Well, take a peek and see, and then in the
I-
next,
I guess
see what you think.
I'll bring you a roll of ribbon. And then,
I have mine.
okay, so take your ribbon and put it around the signs that you're in question on pulling out of there. And we'll all look at them
Okay,
and discuss it for July.
Okay.
You know, because then we pitter patter back and forth that we can drive down and go, agreed, disagreed.
good idea.
I got that on.
Okay.
So noted.
So, but back to the speed limits, I mean. To me,
I
it doesn't
think
even,
how we're
doesn't even
gonna-
look like there needs to be any signs.
Well, okay, so. So from a. Professional point of view, can we send one of these to her?
Yes.
So
To the lady,
mail,
the lady that
To
wrote the
Tammy, yeah.
letter. And I think the
It's public
caution,
data.
huh?
It's public data.
Sure, so I think there'd be some education in this, cause it's definitely, I've accepted as education. That, wow, okay,
I will,
and. It's new. It's,
it covered an area where she thought we were missing.
but I mean, it's fresh.
Yes,
Investigative, it isn't
Correct.
something we pull
Correct,
out of our
correct.
heads. In
but
20.
I would also like to add.
And what's fun is. You know, I'm not putting any on your plate, but. You're a witty individual, shoot her a professional rebuttal with, hey, here's our information.
I think it's
review
more of
it.
an educational thing, like
Yeah,
you
whatever.
said, but I would like to add to that we would add. And I don't exactly know where, a couple of caution signs, which is caution, slow down,
Yep,
pedestrian traffic, with the
Yep.
slow down being
yep,
the.
I can order
I
them
like
from
that.
Decker.
along with the traffic study, because there isn't a speeding problem.
So I'll order a couple and in fact, I believe there's a triangle one Decker makes with two humans on it, a little one and a big one.
Yeah, just, you know, with the slow down thing, which,
Yeah.
so that addresses the speed. And her comments in the letter were about when she's walking in the curved area, that's where the problem exists. So I think that's a good solution.
I think it's a good.
Mhm. And I'll draft up a letter, and send it out to you guys, and if you can give me
I-
feedback on
I
it.
I don't need to read it. I
Okay.
think you're professional and it's
All right, Mark, do I need to make a motion on how we're responding to this? Because it was very specific that Teresa wanted this on the agenda, so. And I think we responded to it pretty
Yeah,
proactively.
I don't think we need to make a motion. We're not
Okay,
pushing the board to do anything.
okay, perfect. Good, that was a good discussion, guys. And I'll go out and throw up some of my tree tape on a few of those older signs that
Yeah.
are maybe redundant or whatever. Okay, number 8, discussion of tractor mower equipment replacement.
Number 7.
Huh?
Number 7.
Signage, 7.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we kind of talked a
Oh.
lot about signage, but yeah.
Sorry, that was Birch Lake Road. I did a little checking, and this isn't our signs, this is regarding advertising signs,
Oh,
but it's still under signage, so.
yes,
we can
okay,
talk
yep.
about
I'm
it.
sorry, yep, okay.
So the town is doing a new sign ordinance as to what is allowed in the town. I did a little checking with Anton. And I will pass this out.
Isn't this due for a public hearing on Thursday?
There are no changes to this part that I have now. And if you really want to see it, I have the whole sign ordinance printed out here. But if you look under,
you.
about the middle of the page, right under where it says Highmark,
Yep.
okay, it says. No signs except for the following shall be erected or temporarily placed within any street right of way or upon any public lands or easements or rights of way. Unauthorized signs erected or placed with any road, highway, right of way, or public easement or upon any public property may be immediately confiscated and disposed of by the town or as its designee without notice at the sign owner's expense. My question to Anton was, if we're going out and pulling up these little advertising signs, they're sometimes known as bandit signs. Can we only do it on town roads, or can we,
Mhm.
when it gets down to the corners, can we do it on county roads? According to the sign ordinance, we can do it on county roads. So if a town road meets a county road, we can do it anywhere around that area. We don't have to measure off how far from the right of way, whether it's in county right of way or town right of way.
My take on that would be this is town zoning.
It's in
It
the
doesn't
town.
matter
It's
what
in-
highway it's on. It's
Exactly.
town zoning.
That's why I was asking.
Oh.
That'd be my opinion.
No,
Thank you
when
for that.
I have them guys jerk all that shit off.
So my
And that was
experience,
before any talk, it was.
So I asked Chris if his guys could take a pallet and build a container, basically.
Yeah.
So when we confiscate signs, we can put them in. And when we confiscate signs, you and I were talking about calling people and have them pull out their
Courtesy
sign.
call.
Courtesy call. And
You're too nice.
my response to you is that, yes, I will make a courtesy call to them if I don't see it being really abused, but I will tell them that their signs are here at the public works.
Yeah, yeah. No, I didn't mean to, before you pull it up.
I'm not gonna go out, make 2 trips out. to
Yeah,
the
no,
sign.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, you
Well,
yank it and.
Yeah,
put it in
Here's
a-
your sign. It's in-
Your signs are
it's in
here.
the sign bin.
and that's exactly the way the county does it. They have a pile down at the
Yeah, no,
shop.
that's a great idea. My frustration with signs in the right of way has been when they're clearly in violation of the sign ordinances, just simply based on the type of sign it is, what type of, not what's on the sign, not any freedom of speech issues, is that nobody in the town wants to deal with it if it's at all a little bit touchy. And then it's the county's problem because it's in the county right away. It's in the middle of our town. Perfect example of this earlier on, before there were shabby signs left out. There is not a single speed limit sign between the top of the hill in Holton and Burkhart on County Road E. Not a single speed limit sign.
I believe it.
And I had asked, can't we get a couple of speed limit signs on County Road E? I think it would make sense, because you do a speed study on that road and you'd probably be shocked. You know what I mean? I just thought it was odd that there was no speed limit sign for 10 miles running through the middle of our town, one of our major roads.
Well, oh, I see what you're saying.
And
now.
my only
So
suggestion.
the only one is top the hill where it changes from 45 to 55 when you're eastbound.
Yeah, and just south of Meisters
I think it would be
Hmm.
or
a
west of
good,
Meisters.
I think it would be a good placement to make that, put speed limit signs going all directions about 1/8 of a mile from this intersection. I mean, just for spacing, roughly 1/8
I'm
of a mile each
I'm
way.
just relating, I agree, but I'm just relating the response I've gotten from our town and some of our town officials about getting stuff like that done and getting old political signs that are clearly in the right of way and clearly in violation of the sign type. Nobody wants to deal with because it's on county,
Yeah.
so which is it, So
Well-
if it's our zoning, then we should be able to do what we want
The
without-
new,
without
I would-
ruffling somebody's feathers.
the new, sign ordinance. I think it's state law or federal or whatever, it is, that you can't take into account what type of sign it is. So you can't even have a rule that political signs must be down after 30 days. Where some places have that. You can't have that law anymore
Because of freedom of speech, if it's on their property.
if it's on their property.
Yeah, right.
Now, this
I
one
agree
up-
with that.
This one up the road here is clearly in the county right of way,
And it's clearly a banner, a flapping banner.
which is another violation. if you want to read
Right.
Through,
So
yeah,
why hasn't that been dealt with?
that, the town should be sending a letter to that.
I think that's coming with passing the ordinance.
And that may be,
I'm assuming that's kind of the trigger point of the whole thing. Although it's kind of unspoken because nobody wants to talk about politics anymore.
It's being dealt with.
Huh?
It's being dealt with.
Good. The right way, huh?
It's a long journey doing it the right way all the
for something like that, I mean, cheap signs, nobody really cares, but
Oh, I
So-
pick that shit up all the time. I
Yeah.
love pulling up and.
for something like that, that's an expensive sign. And, now you're
Yeah, that-
messing with somebody's personal property.
Yeah,
if you
you-
touch it.
that deserves a letter from Nick or something after this. How I look at it from a guy point of view is he's doing this shit to whoever's paying attention, right?
Well, yeah. Triggering whatever, trying to trigger,
So he could trigger from his own property too.
Yeah. Okay, we got everything on signage.
Yes.
Number 8, Chris, discussion of tractor and mower equipment replacement.
So we're just in the pending file, we applied for that, equipment government deduction program. I haven't got back that we qualified for it. I'll check on that. So.
Okay,
Applied for, say that again, what it is, government.
what's the name of that program again?
Yeah, don't.
Yeah. It's a Minnesota,
I hope not Minnesota.
it's a Minnesota program that we are eligible for.
Okay.
It's not Minnesota municipalities only. It's a group buying program,
Oh, group buying.
but it's a.
The
gov-
price points have already been set for every piece of equipment.
It's a municipality cooperative,
Yeah,
that,
co-op.
that runs
Okay.
through is sponsored by the Minnesota government, so that we can take part in,
Okay.
heaven forbid.
As far as the guys are out mowing, banging stuff out, we went through and did some hair cutting with big brush and big branches and stuff. I put new blades on last week, a new pair of shoes on the bottom of the mower, and she's out mowing with the 3 guys.
Mhm. How's the tractor behaving now?
Good so far.
Yeah. And we kind of skipped over the maintenance part of it. That's all done. I mean, it's running and smooth and,
Oh, yeah, it was at Baraboo all
Yeah,
winter
yeah,
there.
yeah.
They doped it all up and did a full service.
um,
Work orders for Kuma, everything going well?
Yep, he's knocking all that stuff out.
Okay.
yeah,
He's got some potholing left to do. I just called Monarch and got a new batch of cold mix.
oh, does Todd store that at his place?
We're keeping it at the New Richmond base.
Nowhere?
At the New Richmond Monarch, at the New
Oh,
Richmond base.
oh, that's where it's
They
stored.
make it in Amory, bring it down here and save it for us.
Okay,
Which keeps it fresh. Well, I presume that they just have one big pile and we're charged for what we take out of that pile.
Yeah.
okay. Moving on to,
Weed spraying is complete. We went out and did all around all the guardrails.
mhm,
And then we did all the hot spots for noxious weeds.
mhm,
So that should be complete.
great.
Did you see the Canadian thistle at 53rd and Perch Lake Road, according to her letter? Is that, anybody look at that?
What letter you got there?
From that,
That's mentioned in
Tammy Traeger.
Traeger later.
That's a additional
Oh,
concern of Tammy Traeger's.
53rd
P.S.
is the road that goes from Perch Lake Road up, it's the private road that goes up along the lake.
oh, the old Symes Road?
The old Symes Road, yeah, it's the
Oh, okay.
old Pay Beach Road.
Well, isn't that end at the last house on that road?
Yes, it used to go all the way up.
Yeah, no, I know.
Well, it must be somewhere there
Used
in
it
the
many
ditch.
So it must be right there
Intersection.
along town road.
Is that plant on the list of things we deal with?
no,
I didn't think so.
no.
It's a lot of that around.
Actually, I think
That we were spraying at.
I don't know.
homeowners are supposed to take care of that.
Oh,
Who?
I think homeowners are supposed to take care of that if it's on their property.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
okay.
This, if it's in the ditch, then that's a little,
Can
can be a little
we,
iffy.
do you think we should check with the Fore Control and ask if they've been hitting that stuff or we've? First,
I can call
okay. Yeah, and then give me a little feedback and I'll, include that in my response to her.
Or do your guys, or do you want to have your guys, keep a jug of Roundup at?
No, Roundup. No. You can't be going out and spraying around.
That's close to the lake too, yeah.
Well, period.
they don't sell the good shit.
I don't think the town wants to get involved with using Roundup. Okay, let's review the bills and expenditures. Ernie, do you have those? Yeah, it's right up there. Those,
Yes, yes.
take a peek.
Question, I think it'll go to Chris.
Hmm.
Under first page towards the bottom, under routine emergency maintenance. John Kelly. Road inspections 39 miles.
That's for, round the guardrails to make that map.
Oh, okay.
The,
You delegated that, huh?
Huh?
You delegated that, huh?
Yeah.
So 11,341 for street sweeping, does that, with you guys? Longer tenure, does that sound like sounds like a lot to me, I don't know. I don't know anything about, I don't know what he uses, what does he got, a
Well,
Bobcat with a brush on it?
yeah.
I mean, it looked good after he got done with it, just seems like a lot.
It's, there's really no way around it for the safety part of
No, right.
the grid sliding and stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then I would imagine it's incorporated in hauling it away too, that price.
So down in Holton where it's, where it has to be.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
MS4.
Oh, sure, that makes more sense then. Yeah, okay.
But we budgeted 9,000 for that, so it hasn't been that high before, but
It just popped out at me like, it
Yeah.
looks like a lot for that task. What do I know?
Yeah, well,
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll just I'll have to ask them.
Do we have more to sweep? We got all those new streets up there. No, I mean, as far as why we budgeted 9 and we're at 11 already. Telling me that maybe we got more to sweep than we used to.
Well, you know what? That's a valid point. I'll have to ask him. Maybe it's the new State Street and Peterson
That's what I'm thinking.
and Church and.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely more involved when you've got to gather that material.
Well, cause
up.
that stuff wasn't worth sweeping before.
yeah, the old.
Fuck.
The old
I'll
one,
have to
there was
ask
a lot
him.
of that.
Cause that's all in the MS4
Yeah.
and it all needs to be done.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask him to double check my thought process, but I think.
Or maybe he could break out the two areas, you know, the town in general and then.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, never
Well,
mind, never mind.
No, I was just, that's the first thing that crossed my mind when you mentioned MS4 and I started thinking all the new streets up there and then maybe that's why we got more to Sweet now.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, and I do. In fact. What is this here? May, we just sat and listened to the Stantec dribble of the MS4 they had. Weren't you here listening to
yeah,
that
I was.
schlub? So,
It's the river.
yeah. It is what it is.
Okay, so I think we've covered the 11 and 12. Anything else on those items? What do we got for the town board next week? Or this week?
We really don't have anything for them,
Well, except for the,
except for checking on subdivision road plans.
right, having that brought up.
Yeah, shoot him.
Anybody got anything for the next go around in July? Got anything, Mark?
Yeah, I can't think of anything I wanna put on the agenda.
July 1st.
It's what it
I
says.
think I could get my calendar, sometimes I just take my phone. And go. Get a simple thing like my calendar, where is it? There it is.
This is a sheet that I inherited from Bob that says what we should be doing each month. July, review mowing, spraying and progress of ongoing maintenance items.
Okay, that,
I'll make a copy and give that to you.
thank you. Next date is July 1, right, Chris? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
July 1st.
Yeah.
6
Six,
p.m.
yeah. Well, I've done that too early. I figured that was probably it. That's okay. Take a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. We are adjourned at 7:12.
13.
What? 7:12, looks like to me, 13. Thank you, everyone.
All in favor? Got a vote?
Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hey,
Aye.
we're voting.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Opposed? Motion carried.